We're actually very fortunate to be joined by someone who is a person that I've got to know and respect quite a bit over the past few years. They're also someone that I think is an outstanding leader and someone who's had to manage an incredible amount of adversity, not only this year but throughout the whole career. And we're talking about Kelly Vohs from Beam Living in New York. And Kelly was formerly in the Special Forces. He's a Green Beret and had done all sorts of missions and incredible things before he made the transition across to the hospitality industry, as all great Special Forces officers do, not. Yeah, please welcome Kelly Vohs. It's great to see you. Kelly, I can see you. You can see us. Can you hear us all fine? That's great. Look, I think I just sort of alluded to it in the start. People probably don't know how big the operation is that you run today in New York and across the US. It's phenomenal. We can hear from you exactly what you do and how you do it in just a moment. But perhaps we could just start off, if you could share a little bit about how you went into the Special Forces, your experience there, what you learned from that, and how you've transferred that now across into the incredible career that you have today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Luke, and thanks for you and the team building good stuff that makes the world a little bit better. I would say, obviously, America faced some adversity in 2001, and politics aside, I've come from a family that's always served, and I said if there was another conflict, I would enlist and I'd go in the military. I did that in 2003, and I did it partly because I felt a duty to serve, but also I think to be a great leader, you need to be a good follower. And I went in at 26, and I will say the lessons learned over the subsequent 8+ years really put life in perspective for me. When you live next to a little girl who doesn't change their clothes for 6 months and has no shoes, you really begin to understand what's important in life, and it's changed me as a person, and I'm the better for it. So.
Wow, yeah. I can remember, I think the first time we met was in Florida at Boca Raton. You were leading a team of, I think, about 1,800 people at the Waldorf Astoria there. I was fortunate enough to be able to join one of your weekly managers meetings. I think there was about 200 managers there. And boy, it was a schooling in leadership. I had never experienced anything quite like it. And I can remember, I think someone was retiring that day. They'd been there for over 50 years and had put their children through schooling over that time, and then their grandchildren, and spoke about the wonderful opportunities that have been afforded to them through their employment. But as I saw you move about, you knew people by name. Everybody had incredible respect for you. What are some of the principles that you're operating under when you think about leading these teams? And this is, going back, 5, 6, 7 years ago. So we'll get to today in just a moment. But what was your approach to leadership then?
I'd say my approach to leadership then, Luke's the same as it is now. I'm just making it up as I go along. And I think that we're all here just to serve others. Like, we're put on this earth to serve other people. And as soon as we can figure out that it's not about me, it's about we, the sooner we'll all be a little bit happier. And I think that's it. Like, I don't have a formula except for to be as real as you can and to take care of the humans. And when you can, expose the humanity, because, we're all just people. We have hopes, dreams, struggles, responsibilities, talents. And if we can just show up and be present for each other and help those with each one of those, we'd all need a lot less luck. So from a leadership perspective, like, I do it just like I show up to be there for you. If we were having dinner together or whatever, it's just serve other people. That's it.
Yeah, wow. I think perhaps it'd be good if you could just sort of explain Beam Living and what you guys actually do, and so people can understand the scale of what you're doing every day.
Yeah, we're responsible. I'm responsible for 2 companies in the United States, and together in aggregate, they have, probably, we're in the apartment business, so we own real estate. But in those apartments, there's over 250,000 Americans that live in our homes, and we're responsible for delivering a place where people, live today, where they shelter, where they grow up, where they create memories. And we take that responsibility really, really seriously. And to be great stewards of that real estate means helping people to live their best lives. That's where I get my juice out of it, is to help people live their best lives, and the humans that I get to do with it every day. So.
And so maybe we just unpack that a little bit from a practical point of view. How do you run these facilities? Like you've pioneered all sorts of renewable energy projects. You've done a whole range of different things as you sort of get below the surface. Like, how have you gone about some of this? Do you use technology to do it? Is it people? Like, how do you kind of prioritize how you service all these people?
Yeah, for me, it's actually really simple, and I don't have an original thought in my head, so anything I regurgitate, I can't take credit for. It's about people, product, and performance or profit in that order. So for me, it's number one is how do we get the right people on the team? I know that that's not groundbreaking, but that stuff's really hard. How do you maintain density of talent? How do you get the right people that care? And more importantly for me is, do they behave the right way? Do they also care about being kind, respectful, helpful, thoughtful? Do they have a genuine desire to serve other people and to check their ego at the door? Because when we can check our ego at the door, what I can promise you is you and everybody else around you is going to be happier. So they're focused on finding the right answer, not necessarily their answer. That transforms itself into having great product. And in that product, I'm a passionate believer in enabling both people and technology. So we leverage technology. Obviously, that's why you and I have been friends for a while, and we try and implement it wherever we can, so that people can do what people do best, and let them do that, and let the robots and let the technology do the other stuff for them. And we have a robust technology platform that we leverage and helps us deliver on our promises, not only to ourselves, but to our residents and also our investors.
Yeah, well, and so if we sort of move to this year, then, like, this has been the most ridiculous year. You've been in the thick of a lot of it there, and managing a huge facility, or facilities, there's many of them. How do you kind of explain this year, and how you've adapted to it, so that when you think about going into next year, what have you done to prepare for that? So that's two parts to that question.
Yeah, there's a bunch to unpack there. I would say, one, how do I explain this year? I can't explain this year. What I will say is, we're responsible for just over about 75 buildings in New York City, and that comes a lot of responsibility. I think personally and professionally, there's two things to manage here. I think we've all got to manage our own head, right? I don't care who you are. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care how tough you are. And I see myself as fairly resilient. Like, it's okay to not be okay. So I've had to focus on managing my own self and dealing with those ups and the downs that comes with it. Obviously, I have a family as well, but then also I'm responsible for not only the residents, but also the team members. I've found the most effective way to deal with adversity is to lose yourself in the service of others. So how do we become part of the problem instead of complaining about part of the solution? Instead of complaining about it, let's try and fix it. And for us, one thing that we did is we said, hey, there's hungry people in New York before COVID, and now there's a lot more hungry people after COVID. So we're going to do something about it. And so we built a pantry, and we did what a lot of other Americans did and around the world did during this time. But just losing ourselves in trying to help others win and get through it is how I help myself get through it. And I have my own struggles too.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us can relate to that. And you've had team members as well that you've lost this year as well to COVID. Like, what's the impact of that been?
It's so obviously I have experience in losing teammates, in the most austere situations. It's something entirely different when you find out about a porter, and that's somebody who cleans the buildings and takes care of it, gets sick on a Wednesday and he's gone on a Saturday. Like, that's not supposed to happen. And it happened to us, and it happened to us to three different teammates, but Zach in specific, it's hard to describe. He's a 51-year-old, good health. Like, you see him, and his wife works here too. And then you just find out he gets sick, and then he's gone on Saturday. Like, that is devastating to a team that has to continue to work, but just, that's not supposed to be a thing. It's not supposed to happen that way. And it happened to us on a number of occasions. And I'm so grateful to be surrounded by these people that just show up every single day and keep serving other people. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world to be on this journey with them. Luckiest guy.
My goodness. Wow. Yeah, it's been tough. And you've been a SafetyCulture customer, both at Boca Raton at the Waldorf and now with Beam Living. Like, I think it's one of the best examples I've seen of using our platform and integrating with so many other things. Can you just perhaps explain a little bit about how you use iAuditor and what you do with it?
Yeah, I go back, I want to say it's 2012. I was standing behind a bar in New York City when I was running restaurants, and I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I found you guys on the App Store, and it goes all the way back to that. Today, obviously, I've used it in health situations, in restaurants, bars, and then today we use it highly integrated into our operation to conduct all kinds of surveys, whether they are of apartments turning, whether they're of technical equipment, runs the gamut, and then we connect it with a lot of systems. So somebody will go in and complete an audit, hit submit, and it fires off 5 or 10 other little functions that happen. And it really ties it all together, everything from invoicing to work orders to the whole deal.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty comprehensive system you've got. And when you talk about leading people and I think being a service leader, someone that's there really to support the other people, you've always been quite passionate about that. Who inspires you? Who do you look for the inspiration to get up each day?
Poof. The honest answer is it's hard. I don't know that answer, Luke. When you said it, the first thing that popped into my mind was my grandfather. And maybe these memories we create as children, and maybe they're not reality, but I'll accept them as my reality today. I like to say that our pyramid is inverted and I work for everybody above me and it's just upside down like that. And I think about somebody when it gets hard, I think about my grandfather, and then I rotate towards I need to put my 2 feet on the ground as much as I don't want to, get up out of bed and be better today than I was yesterday, because not only does my beautiful partner need me, my 3 boys need me, and then all the other people in my world need me to get up and show up and be the best person that I can. That's where I get my motivation. And then I read like crazy, right? Like I know, like I said, I'm making this up as I go. I have no original thoughts. And I self-mentor like crazy. Like, I got to be better. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. Like, I've got to figure this out. And I study and I study. And then I'd be really open and honest and look in the mirror, right? Like, people are too slow to look in the mirror. Like, what's going on here? Whose fault is it? It's my fault. Look in the mirror and let's fix this, and take responsibility and try and make it better.
Yeah, well, one of the things you've done well, I think, is bring through leaders in your organization as well and amplify the impact that you can have through others. What are some of those principles that you use when you want to train and pass on those leadership attributes?
Crazy honesty. It is real time. It is real, and it is coming from a place of love always. Right. So I'm going to bring you in, Luke, come be a part of the organization. But guess what? Like, we're not going to have any secrets. We're going to call it like it is. You and I are going to have a relationship. You're going to tell me when I'm messing it up. I'm going to tell you when you're messing it up. I'm going to try and do a good job of telling you when you get it right. But that's not my default setting. Be warned. But I am going to do everything in my power to help you win. And that, I think, translates throughout. Right? When it becomes about serving other people, and when you are vested, and when the people behind you, like for me, this is leadership. I learned this lesson in 2011. I know where I was sitting. I was talking to somebody in a new company I joined. He said, leadership is about when the people you're leading understand you have your best interest at heart. That could mean you're terminating them. It could mean you're firing them. But if they give you a hug on the way out the door because they know you love them, that, I really think, changes the game. Honesty, care,
Yeah.
love, intensity, direct, all that stuff.
Wow. And you have an acronym that you live by and talk about, BTTY. You want to tell us what that means?
Yeah, it stands for Better Today Than Yesterday. And I call it Betty. And really given a lot of thought about it, right? It started one day. I started this new role and I was looking at this whiteboard and it had 87 things I needed to do. And like many of you on this call, like, you get overwhelmed, like, what do I do next? And I said, well, all we're going to do, and this was in 2013, we're just going to do the next right thing. We're going to do 1% a day. And if we can get 1% better in a year, we can be 3.5 times better. So some days I get better, some days I don't get better. And it's tattooed on my chest, right? Like, and people are saying, Kelly, when's it ever going to be enough? No, you don't understand. This isn't about bigger, faster, stronger. For Kelly in 2020, it's how do I be more patient? How do I slow down? And if Kelly could be 3.5 times more patient, imagine what that would do for the people in my circle. One, it wouldn't be anywhere near enough, but for me, it's about being more patient, being present. That's the better today than yesterday I'm working on right now. Might be different for you, but you've got to wake up every morning and say, I'm going to be the very best person I can, and hopefully I'm going to be a little bit better than yesterday. And don't compare yourself to anybody. It's probably the biggest disease of today's world, right? Why am I going to compare myself to Luke? And everything Luke's done, like, holy cow, I look at you, I'm like, wow, man, why am I even going to get up in the morning? No, no, no. It's about what did you do yesterday and what can you do better today? And it's about present. So that's why it's better today. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about yesterday, because that's you using your imagination incorrectly. Regret and worry. Worry about right now, this second. How do you get better? That's it.
Wow. Yeah, there's. I think there are going to be some tweets going around from people after some of those quotes. That's fantastic. What about the future for yourself and Beam Living? What's that look like going ahead? Where's your focus at as we go into next year?
Oh, for myself, I don't do that far enough planning. Maybe that's a weakness. I just put my head down and work really hard, do the best that I can for myself and the humans around me. For organizations, and that responsibility is to take care of our communities. I am most worried, as I opened with, is how do I take care of those humans in our team? Because I know if we can get that right, if we can keep them feeling as safe and as secure as we can, because make no mistake, every one of us, you, me, toughest person in the world, has fears, uncertainties, and doubts. FUD, fears, uncertainty, and doubts. My objective is to keep everybody focused on brilliance in the basics for our team. We want to do brilliance in the basics, and then how do we keep everybody here and okay? Because it's okay to not be okay, but how do we help our team be okay?
Yeah, wow, that's amazing. The time has absolutely flown here. We could talk for hours, and we're about at the end of it. So it's been incredible. The theme throughout today, we've heard from some wonderful speakers and presenters. The theme throughout all of this, though, was that everybody that we've heard from today was once an ordinary person that's gone on and done extraordinary things. And some of them have had movies made about it. Others have had books written. But most of us and most of our customers are really people and heroes just like yourself, who are going about it largely anonymously, but doing it because it's what you believe is the right thing to do and having a positive impact in the world. And I think we've shared those values all along as well. So thank you so much for taking the time to have a chat with us and sharing some of your wisdom. We really appreciate it. And all the best over there in New York as you guys move through this and out the other side even better than you went in. So we really appreciate it. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.
And
yeah, Luke, if I can just finish, anybody listening, if there's anything I can ever do for you, I know you've got thousands on here. Now or in 10 years, don't hesitate, because I think we should all just try and take care of the people to our left and our right and do the next right thing.
Yeah, and I think people can probably reach out to you. Kelly Vohs, vohs.com, I think is your blog. Is that right? There's a blog there on leadership as well. People can check that out too. There's some awesome quotes on there. So thank you very much for that.